Hello and good morning. Welcome to today's Daily Spell. Welcome to the next week of your life. Hello, Trace here. Hope you're having a divine, wonderful start to your day and a brilliant start to your week, because how you hold yourself, how you set your energy, how you set your frequency sets you up for the rest of the day. Let's be fair. If you're waking up in a beautiful, wonderful, exciting expansion into your day, that's what you're going to get. If you wake up and you're grumpy, everything's going to irritate you. So it's all about the choice, right? Good morning, Janie. Good morning, Simi. How are you today? This week we are going to be inspired by the Divine Feminine Oracle. And the card that has come up for today is all about liberation. What is liberation? Liberation is when you let go of all the structures, perceptions, and I guess the things that have been impressed upon you since you were a little girl or a little person. Since that time when you were born onto this line, you were born free, you were born connected, you were born perfect. But along the way of our humanism, we've been given a whole bunch of structures. So liberation is when you recognize, when you have that epiphanous moment that you're living in a construction created by others. So this is how I kind of see it. Good morning, Jade. Hey, Shamus. You were born into this world. You've got a mind, a soul, and spirit. And to me, they're three very different things. So the mind is the construction of you being human. So this is the part of the ego that both keeps you safe or keeps you in a feedback loop. It's how you think. Whereas the spirit is that spark, that essence inside of you that makes you you. And your soul, well, that is eternal. The soul, that part of you, is the bit that goes on from life to life to life. So if you can imagine, you've got those three facets, right? So liberation comes from recognizing that those three parts of yourself have been influenced by the world around you. That's not a bad thing. That's just, as I see it, a truth. And it's a truth that if we can accept it as a truth, we can start to unwind what we want from it. We can start to recognize, okay, well, those part of the societal beliefs around, let's say, women and the female body, I don't ascribe to that. That's not me. Excuse me. Or that part of the societal belief around religion, I don't ascribe to that. That's not me. So it's about recognizing all of these things that are happening in society and then liberating yourself by actually consciously choosing, what do I think about that? Now, I know that's a massive concept for 7 o'clock in the morning, Trace, but that's what liberation is for me. And for me, I live a liberated life. Do I still, live in the matrix, so to speak? Yeah, absolutely. We all do. Can't escape that until you go off back up to the ether into the collective consciousness. But right here and right now, I'm in the recognizing space. So I'm choosing how to act and react. I'm understanding that is my perception of the world that makes it either good or bad. Nothing is quintessentially good or bad. It depends on how we think about it and feel about it. Good morning, Trace. How are you, gorgeous? That is what makes it good or bad. It's all a construction. Hey, Nina, it's all a construction. So to liberate oneself is to come back into that own empowered personal responsibility. That's where it comes from. It's about knowing that you're in the matrix. And so you can get to choose how you participate. Because everywhere in your life you'll participate. Even when someone says, to you, or you think, Joe's done this to me or Jimmy's done that to me. No one can ever do anything to you because you get to choose your response. Yeah, people have got crappy behavior. Terrible things happen in this world. All these things are true. Great things happen in this world, equally true. How you choose to participate in that interaction, though, that's up to you. So if you're coming at that space from a sense of liberation is personal empowerment. I take responsibility. I choose how I participate. Those kinds of concepts. And they're all coming back to love, which is the soul's journey. Well, you're on for a ride. And that in and of itself is liberating because you know that your life is up to you. Wow, big concept first thing in the morning. I've been really thinking about this one. It's really been in my field. Let's get into today's spell. What is liberation but freedom from the mind? giving up orchestrated perceptions that demand smallness or hate in kind. When you realize that the only way to create the world you seek is to take your life into a sense of understanding your soul more than just surface deep. You see, we are mind, soul, and spirit, having a human incarnation. That is true. Thus, liberation from societal norms takes you to the inner world of you. Once that freedom has been felt, when you begin to walk the path of love and kindness, the veils fall and love wells up to reveal the truth, which takes away all your blindness. Isn't that the truth of it? When the truth wells up of the power of who you are. Good morning, Lisa. The power of who you are. That takes away that sense of blindness. It brings forth the liberation of who you are. And that liberation is in every single way what will give you peace in your life as well. You can come to a space of peace. You can come to a space of center, of groundedness, when you liberate yourself from those outdated beliefs, all those things that have been orchestrated around you. And again, I'm not saying this because nothing is either good or bad. I'm not saying these orchestrations are a bad thing. I'm just saying liberation comes when you're aware of it. When you are aware that your perception is built of all the things that you perceive from around the world around you. When you recognize and realize that your sense of self is tempered upon those perceptions, then the freedom comes from picking and choosing what's true for you, coming back to a sense of value. What are my values? What do I believe in? And I'd hazard a guess that a lot of people don't really think like that. Maybe us in our community, we have these conversations, we're connecting, these are good things. Jade says some systems have stayed beyond their useful purpose. They just have, Jade. We know this is true. So we have to liberate ourselves by setting the example so that others can see there is another way of being, another way of doing things. Trace says changing the inner dialogue is not an easy thing to do. It is not. And so you're right. Liberation equals peace and self-love. Oh, that button again. Self-love. I'm learning. And it is. It's also, Trace, about taking it easy on yourself when you are learning, because changing that dialogue in your head, it's difficult. I'm not a spiritual bypasser. I'm not going to say, oh, it's easy, because that's crap. It's hard when I'm 50 years old. When you've had, let's say, 50 years of this internal dialogue, maybe saying, I'm a terrible person, I'm not good at this, blah, 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 blah. If you're in a negative self-talk, that's hard to break, because there's a sense of being an imposter. It's hard to liberate yourself from that, because there's a sense of being, well, that's not true. Every time you try and tell yourself that you're a good person, if your internal dialogue for 50 years has been, I'm a terrible person, that's a hard one. And spiritually bypassing that to say, everything's sunshine and rainbows, that's not my jam. It's about having the conversation so we can talk about this. Let's talk about it, and I hope that maybe today's spell's just sprinkled in a little seed for you, so you're beginning to sort of be ignited by the thought that there can be something different. Like Jade said, a lot of the systems that are around us are outdated, and they're a hangover from, dare I say, the book religions, which were a patriarchal overtone that squashed particularly women like dust under the boot. Women were not seen as being able to have, any sense of power within those societies. I mean, you all know, I'm a priestess of the rose, which is in the lineage of Mary Magdalene. Imagine if the Christian religion, my God, imagine if we had the voice of the feminine in that. Blows your mind. Imagine if the gospel of Mary Magdalene was taught. Imagine if Peter, the first guy who created the church, imagine if that dude and Mary were friends instead of him hating on her. We would be living in an entirely different world. But that's not a conversation for 7 o'clock in the morning. That's a deeper conversation, which is a whole different thing. So sending you all my love. I've gone over my 7 minutes. Hey, Peter. Hey, Tara. Good morning to you. Hope you have a marvelous day. And just think about liberation and liberating yourself, being consciously aware. Let it bubble up in your thoughts today. Have a great day, everyone. I'll catch you back tomorrow morning, 7:15 for the Daily Spell. Bye-bye.